Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
And Burrell, the celebrated chef, Food Network star, and mentor to millions of home cooks, passed away on June 17, 2025 at the age of 55. At her home in Brooklyn, New York, known for her spiky platinum blonde hair, infectious laughter, and boundless energy, and was a fixture in the culinary world for over 2 decades, inspiring audiences with her expertise, wit, and genuine passion for food. Born in Cazenovia, New York, on September 21, 1969, and early life was shaped by a deep love for cooking, sparked by her mother and the legendary Julia Child. She graduated from Canisius College in Buffalo with a degree in English and Communications, but her heart was always in the kitchen, determined to pursue her culinary dreams, and attended the prestigious Culinary Institute of America, followed by advanced studies at the Italian Culinary Institute for Foreigners, where she immersed herself in the traditions of Italian cuisine. After returning to the United States in 1998, and quickly made her mark on the Manhattan dining scene, working at acclaimed restaurants such as Felidia and Savoy in Soho. Her talent, drive, and unmistakable personality soon caught the attention of the Food Network, where she began her television career in 2005 as a sous chef for Mario Batali on Iron Chef America. And its breakout moment came with her own show, Secrets of a Restaurant Chef, which ran for 9 seasons from 2008 to 2012 and earned her the Daytime Emmy nominations, including one for Outstanding Lifestyle Culinary Host. Her teaching style was approachable, lively, and empowering. She believed that anyone could cook like a rock star with the right guidance and a little bit of fun, and signature phrases and enthusiastic demonstrations made her a favorite among viewers and aspiring chefs alike. Perhaps her most enduring legacy is her role as the longtime host of Worst Cooks in America, where she transformed kitchen disasters into confident home cooks through patience, humor, and tough love. Over multiple seasons, she mentored contestants alongside culinary heavyweights like Bobby Flay and Tyler Florence, turning the show into a beloved staple of reality cooking television. Anne's mentorship extended beyond the screen. She taught at the Institute of Culinary Education and frequently volunteered her time to culinary charities and youth programs. Anne was also a prolific author, penning the best-selling cookbooks Cook Like a Rock Star and Own Your Kitchen, Recipes to Inspire and Empower, both of which reflected her philosophy of fearless, joyful cooking. Her influence reached far beyond her immediate circle. She was an advocate for juvenile diabetes research, a supporter of City Harvest, and a member of the Garden of Dreams Foundation Advisory Board. Despite her fame, and remained grounded and devoted to her family, she is survived by her husband, Stuart Claxton, whom she married in October 2021, his son Javier, her mother Marlene, her sister Jane, her brother Ben, and her children Isabella, Amelia, and Nicholas. Her family described her as a beloved wife, sister, daughter, stepmother, and friend, whose radiant smile and warmth touched everyone she met. The cause of Anne's passing has not been publicly disclosed, and her loss has been deeply felt across the culinary community and beyond. Tributes poured in from fellow chefs, fans, and Food Network colleagues, all remembering her quick wit, determined spirit, and the joy she brought to every meal and every room she entered. And Burrell's legacy lives on in the countless lives she inspired to cook fearlessly, laugh heartily, and savor every moment around the table. Her vibrant energy, generosity, and love for food will never be forgotten. Charlie Burrell was a pioneering American jazz bassist and a trailblazer in breaking racial barriers in classical music. Born on February 8, 1920, in Toledo, Ohio, Charlie's remarkable career spanned over 7 decades, during which he became known not only for his virtuosity on the double bass, but also for his role as one of the first African-American musicians to perform with a major American symphony orchestra. Growing up in a musical family, Burrell developed a passion for music early on. He studied classical music and jazz, mastering the double bass and quickly gaining recognition for his deep, resonant tone and impeccable technique. His versatility allowed him to move seamlessly between jazz clubs and concert halls, a rare feat at the time for African American musicians facing segregation and discrimination. Charlie Burrell's most groundbreaking achievement came in 1959, when he joined the Denver Symphony Orchestra, now the Colorado Symphony Orchestra, becoming the first African American musician to hold a permanent position in a major American symphony orchestra. This was a historic milestone that challenged the racial barriers of classical music institutions and opened doors for future generations of musicians of color. In addition to his classical work, Burrell was an accomplished jazz artist. He performed with legendary figures such as Duke Ellington, Count Basie, and Dizzy Gillespie, contributing to the rich legacy of American jazz. His ability to blend classical discipline with jazz improvisation made him a unique and influential figure in both genres throughout his career. Charlie Burrell was also a dedicated educator and mentor. He taught music at various institutions and inspired countless young musicians to pursue their dreams regardless of the obstacles they faced. His commitment to music education and community engagement reflected his belief in the transformative power of music. Burrell's legacy extends beyond his musical accomplishments. He was a symbol of perseverance and progress during a time of social upheaval and civil rights struggles in America. His success helped pave the way for greater diversity and inclusion in the arts, making classical music more accessible and representative of the country's cultural fabric. Charlie Burrell passed away on June 15, 2015, at the age of 95. His death marked the loss of a true pioneer whose life and work broke barriers and enriched American music. Tributes from musicians, educators, and civil rights advocates celebrated his talent, courage, and enduring influence. His story remains an inspiration, reminding us of the power of music to transcend boundaries and the importance of challenging injustice through art. Charlie Burrell's contributions continue to resonate, ensuring his place in the history of American music as a trailblazer and a beloved artist. Leonard Lauder. Leonard Lauder, the cosmetics heir and visionary leader behind the global expansion of the Estée Lauder companies, passed away on June 14, 2025 at the age of 92, surrounded by family. Born in 1933 in New York City as the eldest son of Estée and Joseph Lauder, Leonard played a pivotal role in transforming the family business from a small operation into a worldwide beauty empire with a portfolio of iconic brands. Leonard officially joined the company in 1958 after completing his studies at Columbia University's Graduate School of Business. At that time, Estée Lauder was a modest enterprise with annual revenues under $1 million. Driven by a clear vision, Leonard aspired to make the company the General Motors of cosmetics, emphasizing multiple brands, diverse product lines, and multinational distribution. Over the decades, he was instrumental in launching and growing major brands such as Clinique, Aramis, Lab Series, Aveda, Bobbi Brown, Jo Malone London, La Mer, and MAC, helping the company expand its reach to approximately 150 countries and regions. Worldwide, Leonard served as president of the Estée Lauder companies from 1972 to 1995, and as CEO from 1982 until 1999. In 1995, he was appointed chairman, a position he held until 2009, after which he became chairman emeritus. Under his leadership, the company went public in 1995 and grew to generate billions in annual sales, solidifying its position as a global beauty powerhouse. Beyond his business acumen, Leonard Lauder was a renowned philanthropist and art patron. He donated hundreds of millions of dollars to museums, healthcare initiatives, and research programs focused on breast cancer and Alzheimer's disease. His passion for art was reflected in his extraordinary collection of Cubist masterpieces, which he gifted to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in a historic donation valued at around $1 billion. This collection included works by Picasso, Braque, Ledger, and Gris, significantly enriching the museum's holdings and cultural heritage. Leonard was remembered by his family and colleagues as a man of kindness, generosity, and vision. His son, William Lauder, chairman of the Estée Lauder board, described him as the most charitable man I have ever known, emphasizing his commitment to art, education, and fighting diseases. Leonard's legacy is not only in the beauty industry, but also in his unwavering philanthropy and advocacy for important social causes. His passing marks the end of an era for the Estée Lauder companies and the broader beauty and philanthropic communities, Leonard Lauder's impact will resonate for generations through the brands he nurtured, the art he preserved, and the causes he championed. Betsy Gay, beloved former child actress and accomplished yodeler, passed away peacefully on June 13, 2025 at the age of 96 in Bakersfield, California. Born Elizabeth Cashin on February 2, 1929, in Waterford, Connecticut. Betsy's early immersion in the performing arts came naturally. Her parents, Charles and Helen Gay, ran a music school, nurturing her talents from the tender age of 3. This early foundation in music and performance set the stage for a remarkable career that spanned film, radio, and stage, leaving an enduring legacy in American entertainment. Betsy's rise to fame began when her family moved to Hollywood, and at just 6 years old, she joined the iconic art gang comedy series, later known as The Little Rascals. She quickly became a recognizable face in the series, most notably portraying Effie, the girlfriend of the character Alfalfa, played by Carl Switzer. Her debut in the series was marked by the 1935 episode Arbor Day, where she showcased her singing and tap dancing skills. Over the next 4 years, Betsy appeared in numerous shorts, including her Gang Follies of 1938 and Came the Brawn, captivating audiences with her charm and talent. Beyond The Little Rascals, Betsy Gay's filmography included over 40 feature films during Hollywood's golden age. She appeared in notable titles such as The Adventures of Tom Sawyer in 1938, where she played Susie Harper, Mystery Plane 1939, At the Circus 1939, and Bachelor Daddy 1941. Her versatility extended beyond acting. She was also a gifted singer and yodeler, talent she displayed in various films and radio shows. Betsy's musical abilities led her to perform on popular radio programs like The Jimmy Wakely Show, The Don Amici Show, and The Hank Penny Show, where her yodeling became a signature feature. Her passion for music was deeply rooted in her upbringing. From an early age, Betsy was trained in multiple instruments including piano, bass, and guitar, which complemented her singing career. In the 1940s, she won yodeling competitions in California 2 years consecutively and recorded music with major labels such as Capitol Records and Decca Records. Her musical career intertwined with her acting, as she often performed songs in films and on stage, including appearances at the Pasadena Playhouse in productions like Quality Street and A Kiss for Cinderella. Betsy's personal life was marked by a long and loving marriage to Thomas Cashin, whom she wed in 1954. The couple had 5 children and shared a life enriched by music and family. Even after retiring from acting in the early 1940s, Betsy remained connected to the entertainment world through her music and community engagements. Her passing was announced by her close friend, Robert Satterfield, who expressed that she will be deeply missed by all who knew her. Betsy Gay's death marks the end of a remarkable chapter in Hollywood's history, as she was one of the last surviving members of the Little Rascals era, a cherished figure who brought joy to generations of fans through her performances in music. Betsy Gay's legacy lives on through her extensive body of work and the warmth she brought to the screen and stage. Her journey from a child performer in a beloved comedy series to a celebrated yodeler and actress is a testament to her talent, dedication, and the timeless appeal of her artistry.
Pippa Scott passed away at the age of 90 due to congenital heart failure. Pippa Scott was a distinguished American actress known for her memorable roles in classic films such as The Searchers and Auntie Mame, as well as her impactful work in television and human rights advocacy. Born Philippa Scott on November 10, 1934, in Los Angeles, California, she was raised in a family deeply rooted in the entertainment industry. Her mother, Laura Straub, was a stage actress, and her father, Alan Scott, was an Oscar-nominated screenwriter famous for his work on Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers musicals. Her uncle, Adrian Scott, was a notable figure among the Hollywood 10 blacklisted during the McCarthy era, which added a layer of historical significance to her family background. Pippa Scott's formal education included studies at Radcliffe College and training at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, RADAI, in London. She made her Broadway debut in 1956 with Jed Harris's production Child of Fortune, based on Henry James's Wings of the Dove. That same year, she landed a significant film role in John Ford's classic western The Searchers, 1956, portraying Lucy Edwards, one of the kidnapped daughters in the film. This role marked the beginning of her long and varied career in both film and television. In 1958, Scott appeared in the iconic comedy Auntie Mame, playing Pegeen Ryan, the romantic interest of the character Patrick Dennis. This film, nominated for 6 Academy Awards, remains one of her most recognized works. Her filmography also includes notable titles like Petulia, 1968, Cold Turkey, 1971, For Pete's Sake, 1974, and Footprints, 2009, her final credited performance. On television, she made memorable guest appearances on shows such as The Twilight Zone, Perry Mason, The Dick Van Dyke Show, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, and Columbo. She also had a recurring role in the 1976 NBC series Jigsaw John, alongside Jack Warden. Beyond acting, Pippa Scott was deeply committed to human rights. She founded the International Monitor Institute, a nonprofit organization dedicated to gathering evidence to assist in the prosecution of war crimes. She also produced documentaries such as World's Most Wanted Man, The Hunt for Radovan Karadzic, and King Leopold's Ghost, highlighting her dedication to social justice and global awareness. Scott's personal life included her marriage to Lee Rich, co-founder of Lorimar Productions, in 1964. The couple divorced in 1983 but reunited in 1996 and remained together until Rich's death in 2012. She is survived by her 2 daughters, Jessica and Miranda Tolman, and 5 grandchildren. Pippa Scott's legacy is multifaceted. A talented actress who contributed significantly to classic American cinema and television, and a passionate advocate for human rights who used her platform to shine a light on critical global issues. Her death on May 22, 2025, at her home in Santa Monica, marked the end of a remarkable...
Kim Woodburn, born Patricia Mary Mackenzie on March 25, 1942, in Eastney, Hampshire, England, passed away on June 16, 2025, at the age of 83 after a brief illness. Known as the Queen of Clean, Kim became a household name through her work as a television personality, writer, and expert cleaner, most notably as the co-host of Channel 4's hit series How Clean Is Your House, alongside Aggie. Mackenzie, early life and personal struggle. Kim's early life was marked by hardship and resilience. She endured a turbulent and abusive childhood, suffering both physical and sexual abuse at the hands of her parents. At the age of 16, she left home and moved to Liverpool, where she began working as a live-in cleaner. Kim's journey was not without tragedy. At 23, she gave birth prematurely to a stillborn son, and eventually later revealed in her autobiography, Unbeaten. This deeply personal story led to a police inquiry, but no action was taken. After this loss, she changed her name to Kim, inspired by American actress Kim Novak. Despite these early challenges, Kim's determination and work ethic propelled her forward. She held various jobs, including social worker, beautician, and model, before finding her calling as a professional cleaner. Rise to fame, the Queen of Clean. Kim's big break came in 2002, when Channel 4 was searching for a cleaner with a strong personality for a new television series. After a successful screen test, she was paired with Scottish cleaner Aggie Mackenzie, and together they launched How Clean Is Your House? In 2003, the show quickly became a ratings hit, running until 2009 and spawning books, board games, and DVDs. Kim's no-nonsense approach, signature pearls, and sharp one-liners made her a national icon and a pioneer in the home cleaning genre. Her fame extended internationally, with appearances on The Oprah Winfrey Show and a Canadian version of the show. Kim's rude awakenings from 2007 to 2009. Kim's candid and sometimes confrontational style resonated with audiences, making her a beloved and sometimes controversial figure in British popular culture. Reality TV and cultural impact. After How Clean Is Your House? Kim continued to captivate audiences through appearances on reality TV, including I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and Celebrity Big Brother in 2017. where her fiery personality and memorable confrontations became the stuff of television legend. Her disputes with fellow contestants, especially with Colleen Nolan and Nicola McLean, were widely discussed and even led to thousands of complaints to Ofcom. After a particularly emotional episode of Loose Women, Kim's outspoken nature and quick wit made her a favorite for memes and GIFs, especially among younger audiences and the LGBTQ community, where she became a celebrated Hun icon. She was also a regular guest on shows like Loose Women and This Morning, where her candid opinions and unfiltered advice were both admired and debated. Personal life and health battle. Kim was married to Peter Woodburn since 1979, and he was left devastated by her passing. Despite her public persona, Kim faced numerous private health battles. She was born partially blind in one eye and suffered from untreated strabismus in the other, a condition that shaped her resilience from a young age. In her 50s, she was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid and lived with alopecia for over 40 years. In early 2025, she underwent surgery to improve her vision and subsequently withdrew from public appearances to recover, never returning to television. Kim Woodburn's legacy is one of strength, candor, and an unwavering commitment to authenticity. She brought joy, laughter, and a touch of drama to millions of viewers, transforming the way people thought about cleaning and reality television. Her impact on British TV and internet culture is undeniable, and she will be remembered as a true icon of force of nature who took no nonsense from anyone and inspired countless fans with her resilience and humor. David Heckley Kanui Bell. David Heckley Kanui Bell, a beloved Hawaiian actor and community figure, passed away in June 2025 at the age of 57, just weeks after the release of Disney's live-action Lilo and Stitch remake, in which he played the memorable role of the big Hawaiian dude. His passing was confirmed by his sister, Jolene Kanani Bell, in a heartfelt Facebook post, though the cause of death has not been disclosed. Early life and community roots. Born and raised in Hawaii, David attended Kalani High School and Panahu School, growing up in a family that valued both Hawaiian language and culture. His father spoke Hawaiian, and David's fluency in English, Hawaiian, and Hawaiian Pidgin became a hallmark of his personality and professional life. He lived in Waimea before his passing and was deeply connected to his local community, both as an entertainer and as a public servant. Career in entertainment. Of its journey in the entertainment industry was marked by a deep love for acting and storytelling. He was a proud SAG-AFTRA member, with credits in popular Hawaii-based television series such as Hawaii 5-0, where he played Isaac in Season 5, Episode 4, and Magnum P.I.'s Manu Salani in Season 1. His most prominent role came in 2025, when he was cast as the big Hawaiian dude in the live-action Lilo and Stitch. In this role, he delivered a scene-stealing performance, humorously dropping his shaved ice in awe as an alien portal opened a culturally respectful update to the original film's ice cream tourist gag. David was enthusiastic about his work on Lilo and Stitch, often sharing behind-the-scenes moments and expressing gratitude for the local Hawaiian crew who contributed to the film's success. He attended the cast and crew screening just 2 weeks before his passing, celebrating the film's release with his family and friends. On Instagram, he wrote, "Now, mahalo to all who worked on this film. It was so awesome to see so many of the true stars, in my opinion, our local crew in Hawaii." Beyond acting, voice work and community service, set of his talents extended beyond the screen. He was the voice behind the public address system at Ellison Onizuka Kona International Airport, at Keyhole, where he worked as an assistant airport superintendent. His warm, welcoming announcements became a familiar sound for travelers arriving in Hawaii, reflecting his commitment to creating a safe and enjoyable experience for all. He also served as a brand ambassador for Kona Brewing Company, traveling with his dog Brutus and representing the spirit of aloha wherever he went. His ability to blend English, indigenous knowledge, and pidgin in his work made him a unique and cherished figure in the local entertainment scene. Personal life and legacy. Side of it was remembered by his family as a sweet, generous, talented, funny, brilliant, and handsome man who brought joy to everyone he met. His sister described him as a diamond in the rough and a source of unconditional love. He was known for his humility, kindness, and the genuine connections he formed with people from all walks of life. His final film credit will be in the upcoming Amazon MGM Studios production The Wrecking Crew, starring Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa, which is currently in post-production. David's passing is a profound loss for both the Hawaiian community and fans of Disney's beloved remake, but his legacy of aloha, laughter, and cultural pride will endure. William Shatner was born on March 22, 1931, in Montreal, Quebec, a city alive with bright winters and tongue switching between English and French. His parents, Joseph, a haberdasher, and Anne, a warm-spirited homemaker, were Jewish immigrants who crossed the Atlantic seeking stability after Europe's storms. They ran a small men's clothing store on the bustling Main, where the smell of wool and cedar mingled with streetcar clang. Above the shop, in a compact flat lit by a coal stove, stories were currency, and read Robert Louis Stevenson aloud while young Bill traced pirate routes on the wallpaper. From those evenings, he learned that words could build worlds and that a single voice, wryly pitched, could turn strangers into crewmates. That lesson, whispered over the hum of the sewing machine, would later echo across starship decks. The household language danced from Yiddish to English, adding musicality to his ear that would shape the cadence of his signature speech in Open Skies. Shatner's elementary years at Willingdon School unfolded with a steady tilt toward performance. Reserved in conversation, yet electric on stage, he captured classmates by dramatizing textbook passages, slipping between French and English accents. Weekend trips to the Seville Theater offered cinematic escape. There, amid the smell of buttered popcorn, he learned the dark could be a portal rather than a void. Summers at Campanile in the Laurentians featured lakeside skits. 9-year-old Bill, cast as a mischievous sprite, earned applause that felt like lightning under his skin. That rush taught him applause as both approval and fuel. His parents, wary of art's uncertainty, still insisted on balance, violin lessons for discipline, hockey for grit, debating club for articulation. By 12, he voiced characters on local radio dramas, reading scripts by lamplight while neighborhood kids chased fireflies, embedding professional rehearsal habits early. Words and rhythm mesmerized him. At McGill University, Shatner chose economics to reassure his parents, but lived for the Players Guild, where stage lights outshone spreadsheets. By day, he parsed market graphs. By night, he rehearsed Hamlet in stairwell acoustics, learning that disciplined study unlocks emotion. He graduated in 1952 with a degree and a vow to chase performance wherever it led. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation soon hired him for radio dramas, his baritone hinting at future command. That same year, he joined the first Stratford Shakespeare Festival. Director Tyrone Guthrie saw raw fire and cast him from spirit carrier to Plummer's understudy. When Plummer fell ill, Shatner stepped into Henry V, and critics hailed his fearless poise. Peers nicknamed him the sponge for absorbing blocking, instantly a gift born of bilingual quickness. Train rides between Montreal and Stratford became rolling classrooms, where he drafted routes to Broadway, Hollywood, and beyond. Each mile proved imagination knows no bounds. Those first professional seasons became a crucible, living on per diems and shared rooms. Shatner learned to stretch $1 and a dramatic beat alike. When Stratford paused for winter, he rode night buses to New York with one suitcase and a clutch of good reviews. Off-Broadway producers wanted fresh faces. Shatner obliged, taking roles that demanded quick rewrites and unheated dressing rooms. Each curtain call, however small, felt like proof of progress. He balanced method workshops with his classical polish, forging a hybrid style emotionally present, yet boldly projected. Canadian humility kept him grounded. He mailed part of every paycheck home. Letters assured his parents that applause, though intangible, could underwrite security. Friendships with fellow strivers like Julie Newmar taught resilience, timing, and teamwork. Such bonds, formed amid dust and grace paint, foreshadowed the ensemble loyalty that would one day define a starship crew. They sharpened each other daily, on stage and off. By the late 1950s, Shatner's path stretched from a Montreal storefront to the brink of stardom, driven by curiosity and an instinct to claim space. Childhood lessons, resilience, bilingual agility, thrift, and faith in story melded with Stratford discipline and Broadway hustle. He knew the sweet churn of applause and the sour knot of overdue rent, forging a steady hunger for the grind. Ahead, industry eyes noted his resonant voice. Casting sheets now penciled him beside roles labeled leader or outsider. Yet he remained the boy who traced pirate routes on wallpaper, always plodding past the horizon. Every audition felt less like a test than an invitation to widen that map. In a letter home, he admitted, "I think I'm ready for something big," equal parts bravado and gratitude. He had not yet seen the script that would sling him into orbit, but the city's neon already echoed faint starshine, beckoning him toward adventures no child of St. Laurent had imagined, maps yet to be explored. Shatner's first brush with mass audiences came during the golden age of live television, when kinescopes captured fleeting performances for the nation's living rooms. Fresh from classical triumphs in Stratford, he migrated to New York and became a fixture in prestige anthologies such as Playhouse 90, Studio One, and the United States Steel Hour. Producers prized his resonant voice and eagle-eyed focus, casting him as earnest young officers, conflicted lawyers, and romantic dreamers. In 1958, he impressed cinema critics with a turn as an army prosecutor in the Oscar-winning courtroom drama Judgment at Nuremberg, proving he could project nuance onto a 40-foot screen. Appearances on The Twilight Zone and Alfred Hitchcock Presents sharpened his ability to anchor strange premises in recognizable humanity skills soon vital. By the mid-60s, he was a reliable leading man who brought theater's vigor to the small screen, ready for a role demanding both command and curiosity. The role that would define a generation landed in 1966. Captain James Kirk of the Starship Enterprise, created by Gene Roddenberry. Star Trek was pitched as wagon train to the stars, but Shatner turned that localini into living, breathing optimism, with clipped, musical diction and a gaze that shifted from steely command to warm empathy. He guided weekly voyages that examined race, war, and technology through allegory. The show never cracked the top ratings, yet fan mail arrived by the sack, and dorm rooms broadcast bootleg reruns. Kirk's confident swagger, tempered by curiosity, became shorthand for forward-looking leadership. When NBC canceled the series in 1969, Shatner faced steep bills and a newborn family, but college syndication soon turned cancellation into canonization. He spent the early 70s touring campuses and science fiction conventions, discovering that Kirk had become a folk hero and that his own destiny was entwined with the Federation's hopeful future. Though the series ended abruptly, Paramount recognized the embers fans kept glowing at ever larger conventions. A syndicated renaissance pushed Kirk back to center stage, and in 1979, Shatner led the cinematic relaunch in Star Trek, the motion picture. Across 15 years and 6 films, he guided the franchise from television cult to blockbuster staple, traveling from V'ger's cosmic riddle to the Nexus's dreamlike promise. He even took the director's chair for Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, learning firsthand the grind behind spectacle and the diplomacy behind studio politics. By Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, he played a Kirk softened by loss yet sharpened by duty, mirroring Shatner's own growth. Concurrently, he authored Tech War, a series of cyber detective novels that evolved into comics, movies, and a syndicated series positioning him as a creator who could marshal franchises beyond his own face. An early lesson in brand stewardship that Hollywood now studies like gospel. Between voyages to the final frontier, Shatner diversified with unrelenting energy. In 1982, he donned a police uniform for T.J. Hooker, turning a mid-season pickup into a 4-year procedural hit through sheer gusto. And weekly stunt work, hosting the reality series Rescue 911. He lent calming authority to reenactments that introduced a generation to emergency response culture. Commercial gigs, most memorably as Priceline's self-mocking negotiator spokesman, proved he could parody his own image while selling the future of travel. Ever restless, he published the Tech War novels, a cyberpunk detective saga that spawned TV movies and a series, positioning him as a multimedia entrepreneur decades before the term became fashionable. Musically, he leaned into dramatic flair, releasing the cult album The Transformed Man and later collaborating with Ben Folds on his Ben, transforming once mock spoken word experiments into celebrated performance art. Each risk reinforced a reputation for reinvention and kept his name glowing in pop culture constellations. In 2004, a fresh chapter opened when David E. Kelley cast Shatner as the delightfully unfiltered attorney Denny Crane on The Practice, its spin-off, Boston Legal. The role won him consecutive Emmy and Golden Globe Awards, cementing a late career renaissance. Driven by comedic timing and unexpected pathos, Crane's rallying cry, "I'm Denny Crane," echoed across social media, which Shatner embraced early, amassing millions of followers with wry space jokes and earnest advocacy for science literacy. Voiceover work, from Over the Hedge to My Little Pony, brought his cadence to new generations. While his one-man shows toured packed theaters in October 2021, at 90, he boarded Blue Origin's NS-18 flight and briefly touched real space, turning fiction into fact with tearful reflection upon return. The televised moment underscored a 6-decade career built on exploring new frontiers, literal and metaphorical, and affirmed him as a cultural ambassador whose orbit still widens. For most of his public life, William Shatner appeared bulletproof. Yet behind the commanding baritone lay a body negotiating silent battles. In 1969, during a stunt explosion on a Star Trek set, an unexpected sonic blast seeded a relentless ringing in his ears, tinnitus that would hiss like starship static. For decades, instead of surrendering to the noise, he researched sound masking therapies and championed awareness, turning a hidden wound into a beacon for others coping with invisible pain. Years of stage falls and on-location scrambles also left their mark. Compressed discs and arthritic knees paid the price of decades spent leaping across alien landscapes. He countered these blows with disciplined swimming at dawn and spirited horseback rides at his California ranch, discovering that motion could muffle discomfort where medicine merely dulled it. Even in his 70s, he tackled grueling charity bike treks, demonstrating that proactive fitness can be a louder message than any diagnosis. Age inevitably tested that resolve. In his early 80s, Shatner underwent a series of minimally invasive knee replacements, joking that titanium upgrades brought him closer to true cyborg status. Surgeons marveled at both bone density and stubborn optimism. Within weeks, he live-streamed rehab sessions, transforming personal recovery into motivational theater for millions. Cardiologists observed borderline hypertension in routine checks, prompting dietary shifts from rich Montreal delicacies to Mediterranean fare, olive oil, grilled fish, and portion control learned on set between takes. He credits daily mindfulness routines, deep breathing drills borrowed from Shakespearean warm-ups, for keeping blood pressure numbers stellar under the scrutiny of constant cameras. Fans saw only the swagger. Inside, he logged every lab reading like star charts, proof that responsible monitoring can prolong the mission. Mental resilience faced its sharpest trial in 1999, when his third wife, Naren Kidd, tragically drowned. Shatner confronted a cascade of grief compounded by public glare, and the weight triggered a bout of situational depression that clouded even the brightest convention stage. He sought therapy with the same candor he once applied to Starship crises, openly discussing treatment in memoirs and interviews to destigmatize professional help. Mindfulness journals and equine-assisted therapy training rescued horses on his Bellry farm became twin paths back to equilibrium. The companionship of animals, he notes, provides wordless feedback, reflecting tension and calm alike. Sharing that journey turned fans into fellow travelers, illustrating that even icons benefit from clinical counseling and compassionate hobbies. Sleep, often elusive on film sets, posed another challenge. Early 20-hour shooting days around cue lights distorted circadian rhythms, leading to chronic insomnia that stretched into the 1980s, rather than pharmaceutical dependence. Shatner experimented with controlled lighting, guided meditations, and strict technology shutoffs an hour before bedtime. These habits later align with modern sleep hygiene science, and he now narrates bedtime apps that combine Starfield visuals with his soothing cadence, merging personal remedy with public service. By transforming flaws in his own routine into marketable wellness tools, he converted past distress into present-day entrepreneurial health advocacy, reinforcing a career-long pattern. Turn every wound into a window for others. Perhaps the most dazzling testament to his vitality arrived on October 13, 2021, when the nonagenarian suited up for Blue Origin's suborbital flight. Pre-launch medical screenings subjected him to heart stress tests and pulmonary evaluations usually reserved for astronauts half his age. He passed with stable vitals and enviable VO2 max. Post-flight, he described the overview effect through tears, reflecting on fragility rather than conquest. Physicians later published case studies on the oldest person in history to travel to space, citing Shatner's lifelong commitment to adaptive fitness, balanced diet, and proactive healthcare. Those papers joined fan letters in affirming a remarkable arc from tinnitus-plagued young actor to spacefaring nonagenarian. William Shatner's health narrative is neither linear nor static, but a constellation of challenges tackled with relentless curiosity and public transparency, proof that the human adventure can remain bold long after the first mission log closes. The first deep fissure in William Shatner's personal landscape. came quietly on a cool Montreal evening in 1965, when his father Joseph succumbed to a long-shadowed illness just as Star Trek began pre-production. While studios buzzed with future voyages, Shatner returned home to sit Shiva, absorbing the notion that even the boldest adventures cannot outfly mortality. He processed grief through motion, throwing himself into rehearsal, letting Captain Kirk's pioneering optimism mask his son's private ache. A quarter century later, in 1990, his mother had passed after a stroke, closing the circle of parental guidance that had steadied him since childhood. At her funeral, he clasped the old store's door key, a talisman of simple beginnings now carried in a wallet bursting with awards. Those twin losses anchored an enduring lesson he later echoed on stage. Behind every captain stands a mother sewing costumes of courage, and when she departs, the voyage gains silent weight. Grief, tempered by gratitude, became part of his warped signature. Moving forward, friendship losses soon layered upon familial ones, beginning with the passing of DeForest Kelley in 1999. Kelly's gentle portrayal of Dr. McCoy had balanced Kirk's swagger with homespun humanity, and his death felt like losing the conscience of the Enterprise. Only months later, James Doohan engineering spirit incarnate announced Alzheimer's, and by 2005 he too was gone. Shatner eulogized both men at conventions, turning stages into collective wakes, where fans and castmates grieved together, reinforcing community.